If you believe your spouse, your children, or your family will always be there to carry you through old age, let me ask you this. What if one day they are not? What if you wake up at 70 and realize you are the only one left to depend on? Think again, because too many people discover this truth too late. I am out walking this morning. The air is cold. The pine trees are whispering above me. It is the kind of day that makes you reflect on what really matters. And the truth is, too many people move through life believing they will always have someone by their side. A spouse, children, family. But life has a way of shaking those illusions apart. So let me ask you this. Have you ever stopped and truly asked yourself, what if one day the people I rely on are not there? What if I have to carry everything on my own? I am not saying this to scare you. I am saying it because I have seen it happen again and again. Friends, neighbors, people I thought were secure. Suddenly, they found themselves alone. And the hardest part was, they never saw it coming. One of the strongest illusions people carry is the idea that family will always be a safety net. We grow up believing in it. Movies and television feed us this dream that love will last forever. Those children will stand by us no matter what. But reality is much colder. I remember a friend from years ago. She was married for decades. Her husband was respected, successful, the kind of man who seemed stable. Then one morning, without warning, he told her he did not love her anymore. He had been seeing someone else. Just like that, her entire world collapsed. She was in her 60s, no children, and had built her whole identity around this marriage. The betrayal crushed her spirit. She had to learn, for the first time in her adult life, how to exist as an individual. It nearly broke her. And it was all because she believed she would never have to face life on her own. Stories like this are not rare. They are everywhere. You can walk through any retirement community, any senior living neighborhood, and find them. A man whose wife has passed and suddenly realizes he never learned to cook for himself. A woman whose husband handled all the finances, who now does not know how to pay the bills or where the accounts even are. In both cases, the illusion of security vanished the moment tragedy arrived. That is the danger of depending too much on others. When you assume they will always be there, you set yourself up for devastation when they are not. And then there is the hope people place in their children. So many parents live with the expectation that their kids will step in when age and illness arrive. I understand why. It is natural to want to believe that the love you poured into raising them will come back to you. But the truth is, the kids grow up and get consumed by their own lives. They move away. They marry. They face their own financial struggles, their own divorces, their own addictions, their own responsibilities. By the time you need them most, they may not have the time or the ability to care for you. I have seen parents neglected, not out of cruelty, but simply because life swallowed their children whole. And I have also seen darker things. Adult children circling their aging parents not to care for them, but to gain control of assets, to get access to money. It is painful to watch, but it happens. You cannot assume blood ties will protect you. Think about this. Futures have a way of falling apart mid-flight. One day you think everything is stable. The next, you are staring at the wreckage. Illness, financial collapse, betrayal, loss. None of us are immune. That is why I tell you this. Do not walk through life assuming someone else will always carry the load. Prepare yourself to stand alone if you have to, because that day may come. And the people who survive it are the ones who built independence long before it arrived. I know this may sound cold, but it is not about living in fear. It is about living in reality. When you are over 50, anything can happen. Health changes overnight. Relationships end. Careers disappear. And when they do, you will not have time to start from zero. The preparation has to begin now. So while you are still able, learn the things you have been avoiding. Learn where the money is coming from. Learn how to cook your own meals. Learn how to handle the accounts, the insurance, the legal documents. Do not leave yourself at the mercy of chance. Because here is the harsh truth. Nobody expects to end up alone, but many do. And the ones who survive, the ones who even thrive, are the ones who saw it coming and prepared. If you are listening right now and you have been through something like this, share your story below. You never know who might need to hear it. Your experience could be the lifeline that keeps someone else from being blindsided. This is not paranoia. This is maturity. When we were young, we were told to prepare for the birds and the bees, to learn about relationships. Now, as we get older, it is time for a different talk. A talk about survival, independence, and the reality that sometimes, no matter how much love we give, we may still have to walk the road by ourselves. So let this sink in. Do not be fooled. Do not assume. Live ready. Because life will test you when you least expect it. Let me take this further. Because ending up alone as you age is not always the dramatic story of divorce or abandonment. Sometimes it is simply time itself doing what time always does. Stealing people away. One by one. I live around many people over 55. I see the pattern over and over. A man loses his wife. She was the one who cooked. The one who kept track of the medications. The one who organized the calendar of doctor appointments. Now she is gone. And he is lost. The fridge is empty. The bills are piling up. The loneliness hits harder than any illness. I also see women. Their husbands handled the investments, the retirement accounts, the insurance. He passes away. And suddenly, she has no idea where the money island. She does not know who the lawyer island. She does not even know what bank the savings are in. The shock of grief is heavy enough. But the shock of being unprepared is even heavier. That is why I keep saying it. Do not be the one who has to learn these things in the middle of tragedy. Learn them now, while you still can. When I was younger, I worked for an insurance company. And I cannot tell you how many calls I answered from grieving families who thought they were secure. They would call to claim the life insurance policy. And I would have to tell them, I am sorry. The policy lapsed. No payments had been made. There is nothing left. Hearing the silence on the other end of the line was brutal. And yet there was nothing I could do. It was too late. That is the nightmare you want to avoid. You do not want to wake up one day, already devastated by loss, and then discover that the safety net you believed in has vanished. So take a hard look at your own life. Do you know where your important papers are? Do you know who to call if something happens? Do you know how to access every account? Every bill? Every policy? If not, fix it. Because time will not wait for you. Now, let us talk about children again. Because for many people, this is the hardest truth to face. I know you love your kids. I know you would do anything for them. But you cannot assume they will be able to do the same for you. They may love you deeply. But love is not always enough. Life gets in the way. I have watched parents age into their 80s, waiting for their children to visit, waiting for the phone to ring, and it never does. Not because the children hate them, but because the children are drowning in their own responsibilities. Divorce, debt, addiction, raising their own kids, running from their own demons. They do not have the time, the energy, or the clarity to show up for their parents. And sometimes, it is worse. I once knew an elderly man whose son convinced him to sign over power of attorney. The son said it was just to make things easier. Within months, the man's savings were drained. The son had bought himself a brand new truck. Meanwhile, his father sat alone in a nursing facility, wondering what had happened. That man passed away not long after. And the son kept living his life. Do not think it cannot happen to you. That story is dark. But I share it because it is real. And real is what you need to hear. Not fairy tales. Not comforting lies. So what can you do? The answer is not to walk around paranoid. It is not to cut yourself off from everyone. The answer is to prepare. To live as if you may have to stand on your own. Because one day, you might. Build friendships outside of your immediate family. Connect with neighbors. With community groups. With people who are walking a similar path. Because when the storms of life come, it is often those outside your bloodline who show up first. I have seen widows find strength in friendships with other single women. They share meals. They share rides to doctor visits. They check in on each other. And I have seen single men, long used to living alone, become mentors to those who suddenly find themselves without a partner. That network can mean the difference between sinking and surviving. And here is another truth. Loneliness is deadly. It is as dangerous as smoking or heavy drinking. When people isolate, their health declines. Their spirit weakens. Their will to live fades. So you cannot afford to wait until you are abandoned or bereaved to learn how to be independent. You must practice independence while you are still strong. That means managing your own household. It means learning to handle technology, learning how to navigate online banking, how to schedule appointments, how to use the tools that keep modern life running. Because the last thing you want is to be 80 years old and unable to manage a simple bill or prescription refill. I say this because I care. Not because I want to frighten you, but because I have seen what happens when people ignore reality. It is not pretty. It is not fair. But it is the truth. If you are over 50, hear me clearly. You need a plan B. A way to live that does not depend entirely on your spouse, or your children, or anyone else. If they are there for you, that is a blessing. But you must be able to survive if they are not. So let this part sink in. Family may love you, but they may not always be there. Spouses may promise forever, but forever can end in a moment. Children may say they will care for you, but life may pull them away. That is why the only secure foundation is the independence you build for yourself. Because when you are prepared, you do not live in fear. You live in strength. And that strength can carry you through anything. Let us bring this all together. Because the point of everything I have been telling you is not to leave you feeling hopeless. It is to leave you prepared. Prepared for the storms that come with age. Prepared for the silence that may arrive when the people you counted on are gone. When you are over 50, life begins to reveal its true nature. Friends pass away. Siblings fade from your daily life. Children build their own worlds. Spouses may change or vanish. And suddenly, you are left staring at yourself in the mirror, realizing you are the one who has to carry the weight. But here is the good news. You can carry it. You can stand strong. If you decide today to start living as an independent individual, you will not just survive. You can thrive. I once had a neighbor. She stayed married for over 60 years. From the outside, everyone thought it was a perfect union. But behind closed doors, she endured a partner who never respected her, never gave her peace. She stayed because she thought she had no choice. Finally, in her 80s, she walked away. Yes, in her 80s. And she told me later it was the first time in her life she felt truly free. It was not easy. But she was happier in her final years than she had been in decades. That is the power of taking ownership of your own life. It is never too late. But it is always easier if you begin early. Think about your own situation. Could you continue living in your home if your partner was gone tomorrow? Could you keep the bills paid? Could you manage the meals? Could you make the appointments? If the answer is no, then it is time to create a plan B. Maybe that means downsizing to a smaller place that you can handle on your own. Maybe it means moving closer to services, to healthcare, to community. Maybe it means building new friendships now while you still have the energy to invest in people. I cannot stress this enough. Independence is not a punishment. It is a gift you give yourself. Because when you know you can stand on your own, you no longer live in fear of being left behind. And let me be clear. I am not saying reject love. I am not saying push away your children. I am not saying never trust anyone. What I am saying is, do not build your foundation on something that may be taken from you. Build it on yourself. Then, if you have a spouse who stands with you, wonderful. If you have children who support you, beautiful. If you have friends who show up, count it as a blessing. But you will not be broken if they do not. This is the mindset that separates those who crumble from those who grow stronger with age. I want you to imagine this. Imagine being 80 years old and waking up in the morning. You make your own breakfast. You check your accounts online. You call a friend to meet for lunch. You go for a walk because you kept your body moving all these years. And when you lay down at night, you do not feel fear. You feel peace. Because you know you are capable of living life on your terms. That is what independence gives you. Peace. Strength. Confidence. Yes, there will be lonely days. Yes, there will be challenges. But you will face them with the knowledge that you are not helpless. Too many people ignore this lesson. They drift into old age without a plan, and when the storm hits, they drown. Do not be one of them. Start now. Get your affairs in order. Know where every account island. Keep your documents organized. Make sure you have a relationship with an attorney, someone you trust. Make sure your insurance is active. Make sure you can access it. Do not let small mistakes rob you of security later. And beyond the legal and financial, invest in yourself. Take care of your health. Stay active. Stay engaged. Because independence is not just about money. It is about mind, body, and spirit. You have one life, and you have more power over it than you think. So take that power. Do not hand it all over to someone else. Do not gamble your future on the hope that others will carry you. Because one day, you may find yourself standing alone. And on that day, you will either crumble or you will stand tall. The choice is being made right now in how you live today. So let this be your wake-up call. Do not be a fool. Do not wait for disaster. Build the life you can sustain on your own. Then welcome every blessing that comes on top of it. If you take nothing else from me, take this. Live as if you are the only one responsible for your survival. Because you are. And if others walk beside you, that is icing on the cake. So prepare, plan, strengthen yourself, and live ready. That way, no matter what life takes away, it can never take away your ability to stand. If this message resonates with you, share it with someone you care about. Because too many people are walking blind into the years ahead. They need to hear this truth. And together, maybe we can build a generation of men and women who do not fear the future. Because they are ready for it. Stay strong, stay wise, and above all, stay independent.